I gotta get this. Can Reese figure it out? Her kids can probably figure it out for
They probably
for
can.
school.
Actually, I'm not going to lie. I had my kids show me how to use it too. So.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. I love it. There she is.
Hey,
What's up, Reese?
not much.
We were joking around. We were saying your kids probably figured it out like in 10 seconds.
Well, they normally use their headphones.
That's I put mine in. I don't know how to do it without the headphones either. So
That's why I went and got my earbuds. Yeah.
So again, talk about like things people notice via like Zoom but don't ask. Like I don't know about you guys, I hate having two headphones in because you know how it's like when you have earplugs, you feel like you're like screaming. You don't like know. So I feel like I have to have one so I can like legitimately hear. But I haven't figured out the master. Do I go like ear? Do I let it fall? Do I like? I just haven't quite figured out the plan from there.
And then you get to this age and you're like, I'm not taking my earbuds out because I don't want to hear my kids right now. So
Exactly.
Oh, that is hilarious. So like, what is up? Obviously, Christy, we connected on Wednesday, which I had so much fun Wednesday. I was like, I want to do that again.
yes.
Reese, you have to show up Wednesday at 8:00. You have no choice.
I didn't know about it. I'll do it. Me and DAngelo will definitely do it.
Well, it's just
apparently people don't read your emails because I had multiple people go, wait, how'd you do that? What was going on? So
I read it that day. Yeah, I read them late, but I have all cleared out, Christy. I am good. One of my emails is down to 7. One of them is down to 20. I'm good. I could probably read them on a daily basis now.
Oh, are you one of those that has like 1,469 emails to read? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, except for today. Yesterday was my day of purging, so
we've been a self-help. It's all been self-help. You know, we're talking through all this thing. Empty your email folders now.
Oh, that is hilarious. Well, I think this like segues in. So again, like I said, I want this to be super casual. It's I'll give you a funny story. So we did this last Friday with John and Sarah, and Jackson started in it, and I was like, so like, how's this all going? How's it going with Jackson? And like Jackson like ran off and like went to the computer, and they both just looked at me, like shook their heads and started like laughing. Right. So it's like, it's like, how are you managing this? Like, we're not, So I think
you're not. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing this for. This is, yes.
Well, so I think a good segue into like how are you guys doing? And I know we talked a little, Christy, but from a overall standpoint, like how has the adjustment been?
Rough.
Yeah.
It's been, I mean, I went from pretty much being home alone from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m, and then soccer practice, and then that was it, to having people around all the time. And I mean, Reese and I talk like every day, and I'm like, oh my God,
each other get through stuff.
Yeah, and I'm like, but oh my God, I mean, like, they eat. And I'm like, I texted her last night. I'm like, we literally had dinner at 6:30, and Riley's downstairs making a BLT an hour later.
Yeah.
I'm like, and they're eating. I'm like, oh my God.
Is that a product of, because I know I can be a bored eater. Is that a product of just bored eating, or is that a product of, you think, just?
Oh, I think she's growing. I think like, my kids don't get to sit around.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And I think sometimes boredom plays in. Like, if you say, go have a glass of water or go have a piece of fruit, if she's hungry, she'll go do it. And she's been doing that. So she's hungry. But, and just having the accessibility when they're at school, they don't have access to a refrigerator all day or the stove or, and yeah, it's,
Has that been similar for you, Reese?
Yes, our kids have been, and Chrissy has 2 at home right now. Granted, they're bigger, but I swear, like, DJ does not stop eating at all. I swear they eat like 7 meals and then they snack in between. It's like, it's horrible.
So have you guys been able to manage that at all, or has it kind of been like, hey, this is just where we're at and we gotta just roll with it?
our management, I text Christy and told her last week we implemented you have to sit down as a family to eat meals. Like our big meals are at the table as a family. And if you don't eat, then you miss that meal and you cannot have snacks till the next meal. So it helps us. We get to sit down together. We always sit down as a family, but like our kids have been, because they snack, then they're like, I'm not hungry for lunch, but then they'll be hungry 10 minutes after we eat. And then I have to fix another meal. So DJ knows that if the light's off in the kitchen's closed. Mm-hmm. So
I like that. It's like anchoring.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, and for me, we're like, obviously we're at a different stage in life where we do dinner together. We've always done dinner. Sometimes that's meant eating at 4:30 in the evening because of soccer or something. But dinner has always been family. It's still not optional. Even now, I'm like, I don't care what you have right now. You have to come. Sometimes I have to check their schedule because Maya still has like conference calls and classes and stuff. When are you available? That's when we're going to have dinner. Lunch and breakfast, they're kind of on their own. Riley is learning how to cook, which is an adventure.
How cool is that though? For a second,
it's some of the things, because like I texted Reese the other day. Riley was doing a math problem, and she goes, "Mom, it says the person has a negative checking balance, and then they wrote a check. So did they put money into their account or did they take it out?" And I'm like, okay, this is what a check what happens when you write a check. And and she had like no concept. So I'm like, so you just kind of like take a step back when stuff like that happens, and you're like, good things are happening. It's not all so
what has been the silver lining for you guys personally through all of this? Because I think there has been some, but what would you say has been the big one for you?
I mean, I think some of it is silver, just that we're lucky, that we have a big house so that we can, and it's first world problems. I know I can't imagine being cooped up in an apartment with all of us, or worrying, we're set. I do worry. We don't see Steve anymore. Steve doesn't come home. My oldest works in a grocery store. She's an essential employee, and so I think, but at the end of the day, I know we don't leave the house. Me and the girls I went grocery shopping today. First time I've left the house in 3 weeks. And that was an exhausting endeavor. I came home and decided I probably need a nap today. But I think just taking advantage of, I don't know. It's hard because there are days where they very much frustrate me, but I'm also lucky that they're here and that I'm able to bring them here and take care of them and all of that.
Yeah. What about you, Reese?
I don't know. Like my struggle has always been like, our oldest is like 3 years, like she's 3 years older than the next child. So we've always seen her as an only child for that long, and she got us to herself. And so when DJ's at home by himself, then I'm like, oh man, Raina never had that time by herself. So now that I have them all at home, which is crazy because it's different from summer vacation or like anything like that. So I'm trying to enjoy the time with them home. So the first week, second week, like I was really struggling because like I know that they need to be in a learning environment too. Like school's out, but like there's still so much stuff that they should have done in this grade, and they're probably not going to have that opportunity to get all that stuff in, and they're going to go on to the next grade. Raina is in a Spanish immersion program. So, like I have been trying to like get stuff together for her, but then at the same time, as much as all of them want to learn, I'm kind of like enjoying just letting them do what they want to do, because they'll pick up something and want to do school stuff, even without me saying, okay, it's time to do this. So because they're able to do that, then I think I take more advantage of just us playing and stuff too, that we actually have time to do that. And I don't have to be so strict on them with me feeling like they do need to learn also during this time. So they're crazy though and loud. I don't know how, like, we're inside. Like, if you were in school, you would not be screaming right now. But yeah, like, I think we're just really trying to enjoy, like, our time. I think this is probably the longest that DAngelo's ever been home for, like, a stretch of time, too, also. So just really trying to enjoy that and take it all in.
Maybe that's the important question. How is it managing DAngelo during this time?
It's funny because he was not so much like, he can't stay home. Like, he has to go do something. And the fact that he supposedly has to be at home, he'll be like, I gotta go to the grocery store to get this. Like, the other day, he was on the phone with his friend and he gave me the phone and I was talking to him, and DAngelo was like, well, I gotta go buy some corn pads. Like, you know, like the little, I'm like corn pads. Like, he had to go get corn pads for his feet. I'm like, that may be the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But like, there's always something like but this week he's been like, oh, I got it. Like, I'll go get this. And then he'll come back and he's like washing his hand. And I'm like, who are you? Like, this isn't, or he'll be like, I'm trying not to go out. But he's been really good though, too, because he's still going on his bike ride. He has a small group of guys that are still going on a Tuesday, Thursday bike ride. And so he's been doing that. And then he's been running, surprising himself, like, because he ran like 4 miles the other day. And so he's like, I could do this like all the time. And so I do get time away from him. I'm like, run farther than 4 miles.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna go 6 or 7. That's totally fine. Like, you know,
do it twice. Do the neighborhood twice.
Yeah, it's like, honey, progression is important. I mean,
it is.
Go 5 or 6 miles this week.
Yeah, but it also kind of drives him nuts too that he's not able to go to a gym and work out. Like, you can tell. Like, he'll be like, I got to get a run in because I feel like I got to do something. And I'm like, okay.
Well, I think that's a good point. So, I mean, what have you found to be personally from a, you know, and obviously, Reese, you're inching closer to your due date. And so I think that presents its own challenges in its own way. But I think, what have you guys found from a exercise movement standpoint? What's been the struggle? Is it not having a place that expects you to be there, and if you're not there, is like, hey, where are you? What's been the toughest part there?
That's definitely my struggle, because we have a gym downstairs in the basement. So but yeah, like, I have been trying to get out more, so not even for me, but the kids, like, having to burn off energy. And so we started walking the neighborhood. But these little people are the worst workout buddies ever. Like, because we go a certain route and we come back through and we pass our house again. And they're like, why don't we just go home? And I'm like, why don't we just finish the neighborhood? So we don't ever really get to finish our big loop because of the kids. So last week we did a scavenger hunt on one of the days, and it kept them occupied enough for us to really get in like a longer distance. But today we're going after this. We're about to go for a walk. So we're going to go the long route first, which is probably what we should have done always, but just habit to always turn this one way when we first start. But hopefully they'll stick with it.
Yeah, that's cool. How about you, Christy?
Oh, well, I obviously miss coming to the gym, because that was like my, I may be a little strict in my daily routine, go figure. What has helped though is, I'm doing like 10,000 virtual races. So, we'll run for bling. But also the fact having Riley still, they keep hoping that when they get back together, they'll be able to finish out their season. They're maybe a little more optimistic than I could be about that right now. But so she is, every morning she's out there doing soccer. She'll run with me. She loves doing the strength workouts, because I've let her start using some of the 5-pound weights. And so she's super excited to be doing stuff like that. And I'm like Reese, I'm like super strict on Riley too, is every night before we go to bed, we write out an hourly breakdown of what our day, the following day is going to be. and it has our exercise, it has different school things, whatever she's interested in. But also there's a walk in the middle of the day, a walk in the evening. I'm just so tired of walking through my neighborhood. I'm just like over my neighborhood. I'm like out running on Ray Road now, and anybody who knows Ray Road knows that that's not where you really want to be running. But I go early enough that there's usually no cars. My big issue now is the bikers who nearly run me over. But it's that I do miss, for me, the gym was always the social part of my day. That was, I'd go to the gym and that's where I talk to my people, and then I'd come home and not talk to anybody like face to face for the rest of the day. So for me, that's what I really, because I can run anywhere, I can work out anywhere, but having that grown up interaction, because, when all you're talking to is kids, it can get exhausting. And so sometimes just seeing other people, and that 8 a.m. group was like a second family. Some of us have been there forever, and so that's what I miss probably more than the actual working out. Because if you want to work out, you can figure out how to work out anywhere, as long as you motivate yourself and make a commitment, even if you have to put it on your schedule and be diligent about it. But
it's I've been thinking a lot about this idea of accountability over the last couple of weeks, because I think it's changed for everyone drastically, and I think you nailed it on the head. I don't think it's not the working out part it's hard, but at the end of the day, we all have the resources to be able to exercise. Like, there's no one here that doesn't have the resource, because all it takes is just going outside your front door. But what I think the tough part is, and I firmly believe this, and I think intuitively I knew this, but now even more than ever, it's been present, is the idea of having a place or someone that expects you to be there, whether that's just a partner. Hey, I'm meeting a friend at the park and we're going to go run, or I'm going to Performance Unlimited and working out, or whatever. Or DAngelo, I have this bike group that meets on, when you have a place and people that expect you to be there, that is the most powerful.
I agree. And look at all of us, when we'd be missing for 2 days. Oh my, are you okay? What's going on? Where are you? What's happening? And now you're the only one that's going to know whether you did it or not. And so nobody's, patting you on the shoulder going, hey, did you go work out today? Or, what's your plan for today? What are you doing today? And so accountability is huge, and it's accountability to yourself. You're not being accountable to anybody else. You have to be accountable to yourself. And if you not judging or anything, but you have to, but it's it's like that for a lot of things.
Yeah, no question. I think we have a lot of these things in place that we don't even think about. Think of, whether it's someone that's working every day, right? They have the accountability of having to show up at work because they're expected to do that. But now that all of this has been kind of flipped on its head, I think a lot of those structural things that have been in place for so long without thinking about it are not there. And I think that's where a lot of this kind of chaos and uncertainties kind of filling in. What's from a we've talked about the movement exercise piece and I know you talked about early the kids eating a lot, but from a personal nutrition standpoint, has this been easier, harder to keep a solid routine in place, or like everything else, has this kind of been really tough?
For me, the tough part is keeping fresh vegetables and fresh fruit here, because the kids are eating everything so quickly. But then I go to the grocery store probably 3 or 4 times a week normally. So if we have some chicken that we pulled off the bones and we made quesadillas the other day, and right now I could make a salad, we don't have lettuce. But we also can't just run to the grocery store.
Right.
Christy. We can't just run to the grocery store like I normally would. So
right. Yeah, you have to be a lot more diligent in
yes.
writing. Yeah, and that's actually been a huge like change of mindset of oh, I ran out of lettuce today, I'm just going to run and get it. Well, you can't do, first off, you can't necessarily find it, but so it's like, you know, I keep telling the girls, I'm like, you have to make a list. When you use something up, you have to write it down and know that it's probably going to be a little while before it's going to be filled back. But that's huge, is that, yeah, because I'd stop at the store almost every day on my way home. This is what I'm gonna have to, this is what I want for dinner, this is what we're gonna do. And yeah, that's not happening anymore.
Do you find that are you guys planning meals and things out further in advance than what you had done previously?
Not really. I have trouble planning meals. What are you doing?
Riley!
She's on the floor. She's literally crawling on the floor.
What's up, Riley?
This is like that news anchor whose wife came in.
Oh, so true. That was like before it was a thing, though. Like
that
now
was
it's
before
like
it was a thing.
Now it's like expected. Then it wasn't like an expected thing.
Yeah, I don't even remember what he was reporting on and why he would have been at home. Like, it was funny.
Yeah.
So for me though, like the good thing is we cook at home obviously more often instead of going out. Like, but it is harder because like after we did the quesadillas and we had the leftover chicken, I'm like, oh, we can make some salads. And we didn't like the lettuce wasn't, we had lettuce, it was not good. It's like, so like that's the hardest part for us right now.
Makes sense. What would you say? Go ahead, Chrissy.
No, I was just gonna say it's the same. I mean, it's the, you know, and again, for us, a different kind of thing is I went from me and Riley eating where we ate very limited. I mean, we have a salad and call it a meal and be happy. And now that Maya's here, and there's just a lot more of like real cooking. They're not happy with a salad anymore. They want real food. And then if you make something for one person, they're like, then they start arguing about, oh, you're making this for them all the time and you don't make my favorite foods. And that's just,
this is another thing Christy and I text about the other day. We had strawberries as dessert one night, and like all of it, we ate through 3 like cartons of strawberries in one night. Like, and then she was talking about mangoes and avocados. My kids have been eating, like we got mangoes and they like blew through those in like 2 days.
Yeah, that's funny.
We need bulk vegetables.
Yes.
Well, on the positive side is I feel like within the grocery stores, the produce and the fruit are like although limited still, are like the one thing that's not quite as limited as everything else.
They are.
God forbid you want some brown rice or something, you're not going to find it.
Oh yeah, no, because I went, this morning I went to the Ray Farms one, and they had produce was super stocked. Like my cart was full of produce, but yeah, if you wanted rice, which I needed, if you wanted yeast, which I needed, you know, stuff like that was, you weren't going to find it at all.
Yeah, no.
You guys found the brown rice missing. I found Rice Krispies and marshmallows because I wanted Rice Krispie treats. Cleared off the shelf.
Oh, they stocked marshmallows because I'm not going to lie, I did buy baby marshmallows. So the marshmallows were fully stocked at the grocery store.
I need to venture back out.
That's funny. Well, let's end on this. Do you feel like you guys have a particular habit, routine, or I'll use hack. I don't think hack's the right term, but something that you've been doing through these last couple of weeks that you feel like has kept you sane, has kept you in track or on track? Do you feel like there's like one, hey, I've been trying to do this one thing and it's really worked out well and it's really been helpful?
I think personally for me is when I realized when I started that how much Riley craved to having a schedule was that as much as I say I don't want a schedule and I like to play things by ear and just wing it, I needed a schedule too. Because I think there was one day early on, Reese and I, we're on day 23 of this. We got to start before everybody else started.
Yeah, we had the E. coli.
Yeah. So,
oh, that's right.
So, and there was like one day really early on where I didn't get up, I didn't work out, I didn't have nothing. And it was like 4:00 in the afternoon. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't brush my teeth.
Yeah.
And it was just, and it's stupid because I'm like almost 48 years old and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to brush my teeth. And that just by doing, and also when I work out, like I drink water all the way to the gym. I drink water all the way back from the gym. When I wasn't going to the gym, I realized I wasn't drinking water. So, keeping track of that where, kind of took a week or so of coming to that realization of, oh, I really need to do these things because that's what I'm dependent on. I need to make a conscious effort. I have to make sure that I'm working out. When I'm working out, I know I'm drinking water. I'm drinking water throughout the rest of the day, brushing my teeth, not necessarily making a to-do list, and even if you do choose to call it a to-do list, knowing that there can be flexibility in it, but there are certain things for me that, working out every morning, whether it be running or one of your workouts or something, that's going to set me up for the rest of the day where I know I'm going to be in a good spot to keep on going.
Yeah, I think that's great. Anything on your end, Reese?
The schedule for me is, I've seen Christy's list that she, like her schedule with Riley, and I have tried to implement it, but my kids are also younger. So it's really hard to get them to follow something in that much detail. So we kind of wing it most of the time, but they wake up the same time. I have them going to bed still at the same time, but that also gives like us time too. And so that's important. Up until like a week or two, I don't even know how long ago, we had a babysitter. So we still had like us time too, but like we went grocery shopping and had a babysitter. So like that kind of stuff is important for us, to still maintain like our schedule too. But yeah. Like we're trying, like I have to keep the kids active because they have to burn off energy. So I need this cold weather to go away so we can go outside.
Well, I think we're on the upward trend of it all. Which is good. Cool. Well, I won't take up much more of you guys' time. You guys rock. Reese, you are officially must be on Wednesday at 8 a.m. for our call.
Are we doing it every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday. There's other days as well, but I think the Wednesday, Christy's on for Wednesday, Betsy, Jenny Eastman, you.
Tim says if you send him the code, he'll join in.
I will send the code to Tim.
Email?
I'll send it like I did today. I'll just send it through text again. I typically send it out like 15 minutes prior.
Okay.
And I will we should get the whole 8 o'clock crew on. There's no reason Matt LeBlanc can't be on, DAngelo can't be on. We can get the whole crew on. I'll push it. I'll send a note out. We'll push it. We'll make it happen.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Sounds good.
You guys rock. Thank you for making time to do this. Christy, I assume you put this into your schedule today. This is handwritten.
It actually is written.
This would be written in her schedule.
Yes.
I love it.
Hey, you got to find what works for you. And I don't do this for Maya, but for Riley, this is what we needed to do. And,
For sure. Well, I appreciate you guys. I will see you guys next week.
All right.
Cool.
Stay sane. Stay healthy.
Stay home.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Bye, guys.